spend some time with the dead.
On demand almost. We'd be like, hey, can you like touch the duck or make it go off? And it would just start lighting up and going crazy.
Why should we be afraid of you?
Hello and welcome to What Goes Bump Tonight. I'm your host, Riley Clark, and alongside me, as always, is
Trevor Jensen.
And today we are joined by our special guest, the Old Spirit Investigations.
That was really quiet, but
it's not a secret.
but it did add to the ambiance of things.
Yeah, no, but I like it though. I like it. The subtlety is good.
Gotta get the ambiance, the vibe.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we're here tonight. Yep. Create some vibes.
But yeah, we are joined by Phil and T. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure, guys.
So up top, let's clear some of the notification bells. I want to thank everybody that has so far donated to the Kickstarter. You guys are fucking rock stars. If you haven't yet and you don't know about it, please and thank yous. Go check it out. There's a lot of cool rewards.
Links down in the description.
It'll help us meet a bunch of cool people and get to a lot of locations that we wouldn't be able to get to. So if you could just give that a chance, I would love you guys for that. I already do though, so there's that too.
And Phil, one of the locations they got for their Kickstarter, Gettysburg.
I'm sure we'll be talking about that tonight. Oh, sure, Gettysburg will come up tonight.
For sure. It's hard not to talk about Gettysburg when you guys are very close to the action, I guess, out there.
Pivot.
Yeah. That was nice. Yeah, it's I mean, we're fortunate where we are located in Virginia to not just only be close to Gettysburg, but it's a pretty good staging point to some pretty awesome paranormal spots. Yeah. So, but Gettysburg, I mean, we certainly, as T is fond of saying, we can't quit Gettysburg. We just keep coming back for more.
I wish you knew how to quit your Gettysburg.
Still.
and I'll tell you this, tomorrow night, we're going to have a premiere of part 2 of our investigation of the Jenny Wade house. It was our turn investigation, Jenny Wade house. We brought a friend of ours, a guy who goes by the moniker Blind Gamer Steve. He's legally blind, but he plays video games with me and sometimes with Phil. And friend of ours from Twitch, friend of ours from the early podcasting days. And we took him. He said, you know, guys, I want to go on an investigation. So we took him to the Jenny Wade house.
That's awesome.
It ended with an SD session. That'll be the premiere tomorrow. Is his SDs, which
one of our best.
It was more of the SD set. The SDs method is, for one, it's a fun method to investigate doing, because for me, it puts me into this trance where I'm almost like not even there anymore. I'm just in whatever space that creates. Like, it's wild.
I love how inclusive you guys were with it too, because realistically, I think I know we've talked about this on the pod before, especially when Patty was on, because she also has, you know, like inhibitors, I would say, that don't allow her to be able to function quite on the levels that we are. Like, she's partially blind in, you know, one of her eyes, and she's partially deaf too, so she has to use a hearing aid. But realistically, I think that opens up your senses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where it unlocks that extra key where it's like, okay, like maybe when I put these headphones on and I go into that trance-like state, it opens that extra, like that door that's usually locked for most people, and it's like, all right, let it flow.
And I'll say this for Steve, and observing him under the headphones and deep into the session, from the first time he got into that groove and things that were coming out of his mouth, I mean, our jaws were on the floor.
It's crazy.
Quite a few times. Yeah.
And I don't know what was crazier, listening to his responses and everything going back and forth with it, or the nearly addictive note that Steve had throughout the whole thing. He was like, I got to get back in, guys.
It's like, I got to get back in. I'm good. I don't need to take a break.
This is cut him off.
Exactly. I got to get back in, guys. Put me back in.
Not much of an exaggeration either. That is not really much of an exexaggeration.
But Steve really had for a first time jump into the deep end of the Jenny Wade house. Holy Hannah. Phil got some, again, this is why we can't quit Gettysburg. in part 1, which dropped a few weeks ago, we have this incredible FLIR footage of Steve holding his hand. He said, I just want to try something. And we saw that clip where he's holding his hand out, and you see the head and shoulders of what looked like 2 kids standing next to him. And I said, okay, I got to give this a shot. And sure enough, I stuck my hand in there and I felt something squeeze, and it was crazy. But
yeah, that was a wild night.
That was a good night, man. It was a good night in Gettysburg.
So, like, did you feel the pressure before? You know, where it's like before you get the FLIR out and look at that, like, is it there?
You know, and that's the thing with the Jenny Wade house. Every time, from the very first time, it's just been popping. I thought my REM pod was going to literally catch on fire. I've never seen it that active ever another, Crescent,
Crescent. Remember, solitary. It was popping in solitary.
Just for a few minutes, and that was the first time we really got some good hits on that. But no location has touched the Jenny Wade house as far as that. But yeah, you know, being in there, it was palpable. And our guide, this guy James, who works with one of the businesses there in Gettysburg that does ghost tours, but then they also chaperone, as it were, private investigations. You know, he's been doing it for years, and he has gotten the impression that there's an orphan that has kind of taken a liking to him. And that night in particular, and you won't see too much of this in the episode that we did, but we'll be putting some stuff out on social media. But he was really feeling that presence, and he had a very similar experience to what Steve had off in one of the other rooms, where he felt like he made physical contact with whoever this orphan is that has been following him around. And that was pretty wild. It was a very moving moment, but man, Gettysburg. Gettysburg.
God, I mean, you know, it's synonymous with like energy being around all of it because it's such a pivotal point in history. Like, dude, yeah. Do you think it's echoes of the past though, or do you think these are intelligent spirits that are still here?
I think it runs the gamut. Yeah. I think it runs the gamut. Yeah. I mean, it's old land, right? I mean, so I think there's energies there that, you know, predate our settlers coming in. I think that of course you've got the energy from the conflict of the Civil War, and then you've got the energy of all the people that come to Gettysburg specifically to investigate. I think it just creates this stew, for lack of a better word. And when you get off that exit off of Route 15, you feel it the moment you pull in, off of Route 15, and there's a lot.
There's something to be said about those moments that you come up to a location that you've been hearing things about, and then you see it for the first time, and it's like, it's like sweaty palms too.
Gettysburg might actually make you. I would say that the locations that have done that to me, I think Gettysburg is up there. Another place in Maryland called Linville Manor. When I just stood in front of the house and just looked at it, I was like, okay. And I just took a nice deep breath. And then of course, we were talking about this place before we went live. It was October 2021, and Phil calls me up and says, I got good news and I got bad news. The bad news is that West Virginia PI unfortunately said that the trip to go to Waverly fell through. And I was like, oh, that's too bad. And he goes, but there's this new place that's just opened up. You probably hadn't heard it. It's called the Crescent State Correctional Institute. This place was a TB ward. Then they turned it into a mental asylum. And then they turned it into a prison. Do you want it? Yes. Yes, I want to go. And my birthday week,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mother Effer.
Happy birthday, Mother Effer. And it was. Oh my God. It was, and honestly, we could not have picked a better night to do it. There was it was a nor'easter had come through, and it was the tail end of the storm.
Silent Hill?
Yes. I mean, it was Silent Hill. It was The fog was dense, and you would be trying to find your way around, and these
Pyramid Head turns a corner.
Buildings would loom out of the fog, and then it was just, oh man. I mean, if I could go back and do that again, but what a great memory. I mean, that's one that's going to stick with us.
But Phil,
forever. Yes.
What am I? If we do go back and repeat that, what am I packing?
Socks and boots.
I'll let you tell the story, Phil.
So it's about 4 a.m.
4 a.m.
I think we just wrapped up at the hospice, and it was very intense. It was our first actually Estes method that night at that location. That was the first time I had ever gone under. So it's late, or early, depending on how you want to look at it. And we're walking back to base camp, and T is maybe 5-6 feet ahead of me. And then I hear a splash, and I hear, "Oh man, are you kidding me?" And he's wearing like running shoes, and he stepped in this like ankle deep puddle.
Oh, no.
and we still had we had till 6 a.m. So we had some stuff left to do. And I said, this is a pivotal moment.
What makes the boys a man?
And guess who brought an extra pair of socks?
The motto of OSI.
This mofo right here.
Always be prepared, motherfucker. Yeah. Always be prepared.
No, always bring extra socks. So he socked up and he was good to go.
Bring socks.
Yeah, bring socks.
See, we had a little an accident when we did our haunted forest investigation where we kayaked into the location.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
We got in there and everything was fine. We hold them up on the shore. Everything's cool. We do the whole investigation. The night's awesome. Nobody's ever investigated there. We had a fucking crazy night. And then we were going back. We're all like just having a great time. It's fucking pitch black on the water. All of a sudden, like we're trying to get out of the kayaks and we're at the dock. Our friend Chase, who doesn't investigate with us as often as he should, just falls in. It's like,
no.
Splish splash.
He proceeds to just get in his underwear and I'm driving home like this. I'll see you guys next time.
And
poor guy.
In front of my parents' house is like the swampiest, muckiest shit you could ever fall into. It's
that's
like quick muck, basically.
Yeah,
that's
a nightmare.
It happened at the end of the investigation. That's the important bit. It happened at the end of the investigation.
Yeah, we still had about 2 hours to go.
A long 2 hours, but we made it.
And I know you're interviewing us, but I do have to ask about this kayak adventure. Where is this haunted forest? Because I mean, my mouth is watering just a little bit.
So salivating.
So it's actually the story
like
behind it. It's across the bayou from where my parents live on this bayou called Stearns Bayou on the Grand River in West Michigan here.
Okay.
And
it
was a farm for 120 years where they farmed foxes and
Ludwig
Christmas
Vollmer.
trees.
That was
the
name.
And Vollmer was the family last name. Ludwig was the eldest son, and they wanted their property after the legacy had moved on to become a public park.
Yeah.
And it now is a public park. So with all of that history, we were like, this sounds like a perfect
original fox kennels.
A perfect spot for
property.
A haunting. And lo and behold,
Riley just came to me one day and he goes, "You want to kayak into this place and maybe see if there's ghosts here?" And we literally get up.
The only answer to that question is yes.
Yeah, I was like,
or
okay,
fuck
like,
yes.
Don't tell me about it. And he kept all the history to himself. So we get in there, and then when he starts getting things that correlated back to the history, he's like, "All right, now I'm gonna tell you guys." He had 300 foxes. The fact that it just said 200 and that he's proud probably means that we're standing. Because we're standing in the kennels too, that he's proud of.
I literally kept him and Chase completely out of the dark, or in the dark, so to speak.
We were not out of the dark. Well, we were, I guess, if you count the lights.
I gave him a little bit of light into what they were walking into, but like not much at all.
He said,
like
kayaks, farmstead, and now it's a fucking field.
All you need to know.
Yeah.
That's some Josh Gates shit right there. And I love it. And I love it.
It's the places that you go that you don't expect stuff, and you have low expectations, and then like my hopes are really high, but all of a sudden it's like, whoa, why is Ludwig coming through? And that's the name of his literally like homie that lived here. Like what?
Right.
I've never heard it say Ludwig before on Spirit Talk or any of the other apps that we've ever used. Not even apps at this point, tools. I'll die on that hill. Just like how we'll die on other hills.
Well, so about that, about the app versus tools, that kind of thing.
Break it down, T. Break it down for us.
I would say of all the different apps that are out there, the one that OSI recommends, the ones that we swear by, GhostTube.
GhostTube's good. We started using it.
Solid.
We got Ludwig through that.
And if you haven't tried Seer, that is an amazing tool, provided you're using with other tools. I mean, when
we do too.
Yeah,
we say rules of three.
We have a rule of
three.
Yeah. So we need three things to happen before we consider it.
Listen
paranormal.
carefully, Phil. Listen carefully. Rules of three. Right, Mr. Oh, did you hear those two voices? I got two sources here that says I was plaster under your feet, Phil.
We'll get into the personal experience debate later.
I love using Spirit Talker. Spirit Talker is my go-to.
Spirit Talker. So tell us a little bit about Spirit Talker. I've not used it, but I'm aware.
He might be in the chat still. He was in the chat, but he's the creator of it. He's a fellow ghost investigator. He's done it for a long time. He's a fucking genius.
Yeah, absolute genius.
He's from the UK, and I think he's right now. He's getting either his doctorate or his master's in some type of crazy field. Yeah, Spotted Ghost, my man. And
okay,
he's broke it down many times on his channel. Spotted Ghost is his actual channel, where he'll show you how the ad works, how if the X and the Y axis, are affected, then you'll get correlations with what's coming on, and then it's like, all right, now I have this background already to use with it. But then you bring on investigations and you go, well, let's put on GhostTube, let's put on Spirit Talker, and let's get the REM pod out here, and let's see if we can't get all of these to go off. And then they do.
Yeah.
And
we have things correlating with each other, like
I think one of the
saying
best,
something that correlates with Spirit Talker or vice versa, and it's
best.
Yeah,
I think one of the best correlations we've ever had was at Linville Manor, and we weren't even investigating; we were just filming the episode. So what I'll recommend to you guys is after you're done with us here, go to the part 2 of the investigation of Linville Manor, where we say we caught a ghost live on video, and just jump to the end where Wynn Brewer, the owner of Linville, does this thing called a toast to the ghost.
Don't mind me. This is for the social media.
Thank you. My wife thanks you. So we're all there, and he does this. He has this lovely little rhyme that he does called the toast to the ghost, where he basically toasts to the lives of past, present, and future. And there are three of us on camera. Tina, Pip, and one of Phil's daughters is off camera, and they're all quiet because they know we're filming. So Wynn does the toast to the ghost. Wynn says cheers. Phil says cheers. I say cheers, and a fourth voice goes cheers. And we caught that voice on 3 different cameras.
That's the best.
It was like victory lap, baby. Yeah. And it was that and it's not the first time we've caught disembodied voices on film. It's just one of those things where Phil and I feel very fortunate. It's like an embarrassment of riches. Whether it's Gettysburg, whether it's
effing crazy is what it is.
Yeah.
It's really happening. This is happening. Yep.
And here's the thing. We when we go into an investigation, we try to really temper those expectations, saying that, it's fine if nothing happens. It's fine if we don't come out of here. It's all about the experience. It's all about being in that space, being with your buddies and the people that, you just like to spend time with, doing something cool. And I don't think I can curse it at this point. I don't recall a single investigation, even casual, just going out one, off day, where we haven't come back with at least one EVP or something.
Just a little taste. Yeah,
just a taste, right?
I think we get a little bit jaded
so good.
sometimes as ghost hunters. We get jaded of the evidence we capture. You know what I mean? Because you're like, I want all of this evidence, and then you catch like 2 or 3 things. You're like, nothing really happened, but it might be something that's just like really, really good.
Yeah, and that's a great point as far as getting jaded and then finding that perspective. And I think that's important for longevity in this field. Is to
burnout's real.
Yeah. So you gotta always
totally
strive
agree.
for that perspective.
Yeah.
But it's
It's also one of the reasons why, when you mentioned paranormal burnout, it's one of the reasons why we stick with the season, as opposed to, I mean, we've heard of different teams just going out on YouTube and they're just cranking out, show after show after show after show, and they do it.
Yeah,
for
and you want to meet
years
these
on end.
deadlines too.
And I'm sitting there going,
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but no analytics is worth that. No
Yeah,
analytics
never.
is worth that burnout, which is why, Phil and I are like, okay, we're going to start our season between February and March. We will wrap up either between October or November, and then we take a break just for our. Now we will still go out and we will still, gather evidence and do things like that, and I will still build up the buffer for the upcoming episodes. But there is no reason why we should grind ourselves into the dirt for analytics. I'm just like, it's not worth it. We either hit it or we don't. It's
especially since the analytics make no effing sense.
Well,
Anyway.
there's that.
The algorithm's always
I've asked
changing.
AI how to hack it, and they can't tell me.
No,
Yeah, exactly. Don't get me started on that. I just finished a course on ChatGPT and SEO, and I'm ready to put my head through a wall. But as far as those expectations, I think, when people ask me, because I got that a lot at TwitchCon, they're like, well, when are you the most scared? I'm like, it's always when I review the evidence, because
there.
Yeah,
to your baby Jesus in your tiny manger with your baby Einstein educational DVDs. Let us catch one thing.
No, it's not even that. It's what we catch, and I'm like, I didn't effing hear that in the moment. For example, we were at this undisclosed location. That's the only way I can describe it. An undisclosed location in Southern Virginia, and it was an unexpected location due to a mishap at our Airbnb. And when they found out why we were in the area, they said, well, I work at this location. We're pretty sure it's haunted. Do you want to come out and investigate?
Oh, that was brilliant.
Yeah. Well, then Pip, my wife, Pip, she calls me up from the top floor and says, I need your ears, T. And I said, okay, I'm listening. And it's just a casual conversation. We're all getting set up. And as she has the conversation, this very clear, where is he, just comes through.
You didn't tell me about this.
Dude, we sent you the clip. You never check it when we send you clips. Bro,
I got a lot going on. When did you send this?
This week, man.
Wait, this week right here?
Yes. Check your goddamn messages.
Who was pressuring me to get content done this week?
Guys, I'd like to thank you for the last appearance from OSI. I think you should commemorate this particular podcast.
just like Gettysburg, he can't quit me. He can't quit me. Now he'll cool down and be like, baby, I'm sorry I got so angry. I'm sorry.
You're gonna feel the back of my hand is what you're gonna feel. You're gonna feel the back of my hand.
You want a
back of my pimp hand.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway,
he talks a big talk, but he rubs a good back. He rubs a good back.
No, I wish there was alcohol in this. So anyway,
have I taught you nothing? Have I taught you nothing?
TWA. That's all I got to say, mother effer. TWA.
This is what we do.
Oh my God. Welcome to the sideshow that we take on the road. Anyway, but yeah, it was like
circus is always in town here.
It was this amazing EVP that we picked up, and I should say my wife picked up, and I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, yeah, I haven't even looked at that evidence yet. I mean, we're still working through this season, and the place that she was taught that she was looking at the evidence of, that's not until season 3. And we're trying to figure out the logistics of it, because we knew there was some kind of vibe there. And every time I always think, whenever I walk away from a place and Pip asks me, so did you think you caught something? And I said, well, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say, honey, I really didn't feel it tonight. Then I'm going to go into the evidence, and people are going to be talking to me left and right. And so that's when I get the most scared, because it's like, I'll hear something, and I'm like, I know for a fact. And then, of course, what I do, I check any other recording device, whether it's audio or video. And then when I get that corroboration, I'm like, wow. And I've been lately doing that live on stream on Twitch. And that has been an incredible experience, because
That's brilliant, actually.
Oh wait,
Add the extra eyes too.
you
Extra eyes, extra ears.
You live edit on Twitch?
Yeah, and
That's
I call
freaking cool, dude.
I call it Fright Night
It
Friday.
is. He's got bigger balls than I do in that respect.
Yeah, I can do
in that respect.
Ah!
All right.
So like unorganized the editing where it's like, oh god, this is pure chaos.
I have to be
thrive,
in like
but-
this. Like we do this thing where we bring both our computers into my house and we put them up side by side in this side of the studio. And we literally, he works on one video, I work on the other, and then we just kind of work together on stuff. And
it works well.
It works well, but we have to be super focused.
We're hoping for season 3 we could do something like that. One of those, hey Tango, have a listen to this. You know?
Yeah. I think because I think for review that would work well. I think if we are getting into the nitty gritty, it might get ugly.
One of the things I like about doing, the thing I like the most about doing live review on my stream is it gives a chance for people to see the other side of paranormal investigation. They get to see how the sausage is made. And so that when we do get somebody, and I have had this happen before, we've had people go, yeah, bro, you found this. Yeah, and I have to trust you because you probably did that in post.
Oh, and I get that all the time.
Let me show you.
Right?
And I go, hey, you know what? Come on in on Fridays, sit with me. And you'll realize that this is 3 hours of 18 that I've captured total. And if you think after 18 hours, I'm going to go, that's a place where I'm going to slip something in. And I'm going to be like,
I laugh every time I think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, it's so brilliant.
It's like, why do I want to make more work for myself?
Exactly.
Because I've just spent 18 hours listening to this shit.
And I'm going to
for one single no. Right? Like a no. Yeah.
And you really think of all the things I'm going to make a ghost say. I'm going to make a ghost say, get out. No, I'm going to say, motherfucker, what are you doing in my hizzy? That's what I'll make it say, right? But the thing is that I invite people to come in to see how the sausage is made, so they can see just how really intense this is.
What's the Twitch name? Like, where can they find it on Fridays? Because this needs to be happening.
This is it's the T Monster. It's the T Monster. The T Monster. Twitch.tv/the T Monster.
Is that TEE or TEA?
Well, it's right in front of you, Phil. Read the damn.
Because I'm messing with you.
Yeah, I know you're messing with me. You don't want to mess with me because I'm sending you good shit and you're ignoring it just like it's a premiere episode. Oh, wait, let me guess, Phil. It was buffering, right? It was buffering. Is that was
bingo?
So anyway,
it was.
Yeah. So usually on Fridays, I will if I have something to look at, and trust me, we already have collected enough data for season 3. I have plenty of stuff to look at on Friday. Tomorrow I'll be looking at the ghost would be like, this is not the bathroom. That's an inside joke because the guy who just commented, the Big Marvinsky, friend of ours from the UK, and we got a chance to take him not to 1 but 2 haunted locations during his stay.
Yeah,
and it was really a lot of fun. But yeah, it's this thing where I just basically sit down and I say, we're going to line up these different sources of audio. We're going to line up these different sources of video. We're just going to review it, and it's going to be, and I also open it up so people have questions about what's this device and what does it do. I'll answer it. So I'll talk about what's happening in the moment, what we're doing, what is the Estes method, what is automatic writing, all this different stuff, and it really has been, Phil says that I got cojones for doing it, but honestly, when I first started doing it, I said no one's gonna tune in for this, and I have had people come back. Some people have said, I miss the gaming, but other people said, no, this is really cool. And
so bring it. Okay, can I interject?
Go ahead, go for it.
When you're in the act of reviewing evidence, right? So you're doing your thing. Yeah. You're listening through audio. You're watching video. How do you feel about that silence? I mean, because you're not interacting with the stream because you have to pay attention to what's going on. Does that make you feel like anxious? That you feel like you need to be like checking in?
I have seen a perfect example. Started on Twitch. He's now on YouTube. Dr. Lupo. He will go 20 minutes without talking to anybody, and then he stops and he goes, "All right, everybody, how you doing? We're playing some Fortnite. Gonna probably get into Tarkov. Let's do this. Boom, he gets right back in 20 minutes and he is laser focused. And that's kind of the way I look at it. I go 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't have any music going on. And I just explain to people, look, paranormal investigating is a little bit like fishing. It's 2 hours and 55 minutes of nothing happening and 5 minutes of absolute panic and adrenaline. And I know,
it hits in waves.
You gotta find the pockets. It is. Yes.
You gotta find the pockets.
Yeah. And if you're not into fishing, I'll give you another analogy. Paranormal investigation is like my latest passion, Formula One racing.
Oh yeah.
In those mid laps, it's getting a little trite. But if you saw the last F1 race, Verstappen crosses the finish line, Norris crosses the finish line. Nobody cared. Why? Because back in P3, Alonso and Checo were duking it out for P3, and it was a literal photo freaking finish. That's paranormal investigation in a nutshell. Because you're just like, okay, oh shit, something's happening, and
there's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Exactly.
That's really what it is.
Oh man, and when you hit that, when the shit is happening. Because you're lulled, you're kind of lulled into this like zone of just
you're normally just like
so mellow.
Yeah,
like all right.
And
then for me, it's almost like this weird feeling just takes over your body, like when ghost shit happens, and you're just like you're so hyper focused into the situation. And then when it goes away, it's almost like you come back to reality, and it's like
you can feel the change too. You're just like, oh, okay. Like
I think in our last video at the haunted forest, we literally had a moment in the episode where
we all just looked at each other.
We did some like dialogue, and then we tried to go back to investigate, and we're like, it's not here anymore.
Yeah,
like it left.
Yeah,
it's gone.
It's a trip,
and that's when you know, okay, it's time to pack up the toys and call.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, I think hands down, there has not been a single investigation where we haven't known that it was time to pack up. Like you just know.
I will say, I think the toughest investigation we've ever done in trying to read the room and see what was going on. It happened actually this summer. We investigated the Octagon Mansion on 585.
Yep.
And it's in Southern Virginia. The people who run it are absolutely delightful.
Oh, great people. Great.
The space itself, I was physically and mentally drained when I walked out of there. And
a lot in there.
There was just a lot of stuff in there. It was just the only way I can describe it, if you don't mind me being so candid, it was an ADHD fever dream.
Yeah, well, and that because the owner has this incredible collection,
unbelievable
of Civil War antiques and just authentic memorabilia, just history, and it's not just Civil War too. I mean, it goes into World War II, and the thing that I think astounded all of us, he had these photographs.
Read my mind.
In fact, T, why don't you tell the story of these World War II photographs? Because it blew my mind.
Blows my mind every time I think about it. So we basically have made our way to the World War II room. Amazing collection of stuff that I'm a bit of a World War I, World War II history guy. And these are things I've never seen, like stuff you would see in, you know how like when USA Today does like a pictographic of, this is what happened on 9/11, and these were where the planes came in, et cetera. There was that under glass of Germany's last stand.
Whoa.
And they're talking about how the American troops are coming this way, the Russian troops are coming this way, and I was like, wow! But that wasn't what blew my mind. The story that the owner of the Octagon Mansion told was like, you see these photographs here? Well, these photographs came from an old Brownie camera that a friend of mine had found
in the attic, right? In his attic.
In the attic. And he said, I'm just going to go on ahead and send these off to him. And he said, dude, that's a Brownie camera. No one's going to know what to do with it. And he said, I've got a friend. He deals with these types of antiques. He knows how to develop the film, because they knew there was film still in there. They just didn't know what. So I said, I'll send these to the friend. The only thing I ask is that you pay, in the trade-off would be you would pay for an extra set. So I get whatever's on here.
Yeah.
Right. So his friend agrees to it. He sends it off, and the guy calls him and says, I've developed the prints. I'm going to send the camera and the prints off to him, and your prints will come in. He gets the prints, and they were taken on December 7th, 1941 in Hawaii.
Whoa.
I mean, he got the kill shot of the Arizona.
It
was
nuts.
mind blowing.
Whoa.
And this guy has it in the Octagon Mansion in Southern Virginia.
Just to see that was
that kind of history
developed from this film that captured that light coming off that moment. Anytime I think back to that, I can barely wrap my head around it. Yeah.
The fact that was just in an attic. Like, what?
It was just sitting in an attic.
In a place so far away from where it actually happened.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about this whole
the world almost.
And the thing about this whole paranormal investigation thing. It's not always like just about ghosts or even less about demons. It's about like this living history in these stories that sometimes just get kind of like stuck under the bed or like in the corner and no one notices they're there.
And then they're just gone forever.
Yeah, but they're not, because when you pull out that lint trap, you're like, holy shit, look at all these stories in this lint trap. I'm glad I don't clean the lint trap.
But that was the thing about the Octagon Mansion. I obviously haven't looked at any of the stuff that we captured from there, but I honestly can only assume that it would be almost some type of sensory overload, because it was just everywhere you look.
Well, yeah.
There was something. But I will say this: there was one great thing that came out of that investigation that I said, okay, I can't ignore that. Because I'm a fan of Call Me Chris and Selena Spooky Boo, I've been watching their Spooky AF stuff, and I was watching Selena do actually Selena and Chris do automatic writing, and I said, I think I want to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
we've tried that with your dad.
Yeah, we did. It was crazy. Actually,
all I remember was that I'm writing stuff down, and it didn't make any sense to me. And I said, I wonder how I did. I took my mask off and I looked at everybody, and everybody looked at me with this expression. And I said,
"What are you doing?"
I guess this worked, and
it did.
It
was cool. It was really cool.
It was really amazing. The stuff that was just coming in.
Crazy.
So yeah, but we try when we go to a site, we try to go in, not for the thrill, not for the adrenaline rush. We're trying to find out the story. We're trying to find out what happened here. And I think that's best personified. We were the first team to officially investigate this location of Manassas called the Candy Factory. It is now a performing arts center.
So sweet.
It's such a sweet.
Thank you.
That was so funny.
Two dads doing this investigation.
Yeah, this is where the dad part comes in.
Boom.
For Old Spirits.
On right now.
So we're doing investigations. We're running both portals. We're running homemade portals. We're running spirit boxes, and a name that came in from two different teams that night, or actually on a series of nights. We kept hearing the name Edwin, Edwin, over and over again. We did not know a lot about the history of the location, but my wife, who is big into research, said, I'm going to go on ahead and try to find out if there's a connection here with this Edwin.
Get the shovel and let's dig.
And she starts digging. So it is like December 22nd or December 23rd, and 1928. And four kids are joyriding through Manassas.
Oh, it's Christmas Eve, my friend.
That's when the funeral happened.
I just got fact checked on live stream.
Yes, you did, Mulder.
I'm gonna go grab the shame bell and give it a few rings.
So what happened was that these four kids were joyriding. And the thing you got to know about Manassas is it's a major junction for the railways. and as they're joyriding, they get slammed by an oncoming train. They get dragged by 400. They got dragged by 400 yards. One of those 4 kids, name was Edwin.
Yep.
Damn.
Oh. But here's and if I might jump in,
please do.
We did a preliminary walkthrough, right, with some of the staff of the art factory who what would you say? They don't own it, but they utilize the space. They turn it into a gallery. And some of the members of the Manassas Museum, and we were in one of the spots in the building that has a lot of activity. And in that short period of time, I caught something on one of my recorders, and I wanted it to be Edward because I heard the Edwa, and it was very clear, but I couldn't get that last part. And then T and I were actually streaming that night. We were playing, I think we were doing Phasmophobia that night.
Yeah, I want to play that.
And I don't know if I sent it out to the chat or if I sent Pip a message, and I said, "What was that name? What was that name of the kid? Was it an Edward?" And she said, "No, it was Edwin." And it all just came together, and I went back and I listened to it, and boom, it said Edwin. And again, that was one of those moments where you as investigators, as legit investigators, right, as you guys are as well, you try very hard, and T might argue that I don't do this, but I do. It's an internal conflict, right? Yep. Where you are trying to justify whether or not what you're hearing is something that is actually happening.
You do that, Mulder. You do that often.
I do that. I do a lot of it internally. I do a lot of it inside.
We'll do it get on investigations. So like Riley will look at me and be like, "Did you say that? Did you shuffle? No. Yeah. Did you shuffle? No."
Well, T will say, "Well, it's my stomach. I'm hungry. It's my stomach.
It's my stomach. I call it.
It's getting late."
You do. In fact, the inspiration of all this stuff. If you saw the back of the shirt, says "Choose one." And it's 2 check boxes. One says that was me. The other one is that wasn't me. And most of the time, it's when Phil says, "T, was that your stomach?" And I go, "No." You can hear a pin drop after that.
No, right? You can. And by the way, just to jump in, thank you, Bad Cat Paranormal, for subscribing to Old Spirits.
I was going to say, Bad Cat, if you like this voice, you should hear him sing. Man's got some blues music in him that you can only enjoy with a bourbon and some ribs. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying this way.
I feel like we have to on the show. If somebody says that they have a hidden talent, we have to.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus! All right, well, we're gonna have to do it a little bit later then, because this ain't water, folks.
Oh, God, yeah, I didn't think it was because
this is a good story.
Yeah, the first night.
Take it back a little further though. Okay. Take it back. As far as we decided we're going to do this investigation thing, and then we decided, why don't we turn it into a YouTube thing?
Let's do a YouTube thing
to UT.
Yeah, the audio, audio can only go so far. So Phil and I know each other from the early days of podcasting. I was the first guy to podcast a novel from cover to cover, and and thank you, Black Smoke. And Phil reached out to me, and this was how we met. Turns out we're both graduates from James Madison. Turns out we both marched in the Marching World Dukes. Yep. Turns out we both marched playing the trombone, but we were separated. No shit, but we were separated by at least a decade and some change.
Yeah.
But what brought us together was podcasting. And Phil tells me the story about this novel and what he wants to do. And I said, "Why are you sitting here talking about it? You should make it happen." And that novel became Crescent, which the best way I can describe it is picture Babylon 5 if Babylon 5 was a haunted house. And that's so cool. And he podcasted that. So that's how long we've known each other.
Yeah, we go way back.
So, but as far as this was concerned, I said we've got to turn it into YouTube. We got to shoot it on video.
We got to ride the wave while it's there.
That's the jam, right? Yeah.
So I show up with the modest kit, and we were literally putting this thing together.
Oh, it was like a fucking iPhone and like a $90 camera and a $60 camera.
Like our video cameras.
we had
Yes,
for
basically.
lighting.
Yeah.
For lighting, we took
But
we took
much
the
more
photo every
ironic.
day, yeah, it was rough. It basically, our rig for that pilot episode looked like something you see on Gilligan's Island that the professor and
Yeah,
Gillian
no,
put
that's
together.
where we started to. Everybody
There you
starts
go.
there.
Literally, our
start
first
there.
couple of videos are just a black screen where you see like device
Feet
lights.
and feet.
And to take a side channel here, I think that's one of the compelling things about using YouTube or other social channels to put this content out there. I think the people that are legitimately into this journey, right? They want to see the actual journey because it is so effing dynamic.
It's
Just
artistic
not,
as fuck.
yeah, it is crazy and it's a beautiful thing. And so,
So,
yeah,
but the thing
beauty.
was, I said to Phil, I said, okay, so we're going to shoot this thing, and we're just talking. We're on the couch. Like I said, when you see that pilot episode, you see how raw it is. What I didn't realize was that Phil was apparently so wound up and so effing nervous about being on camera. I'm drinking like water. Phil's got like a gin and tonic with the emphasis on gin and maybe just a dash of tonic.
Vodka tonic.
Okay, vodka tonic. Vodka tonic.
Yeah, I'm
And
responsible. I'm responsible. It's vodka, not gin.
Like a few drops of tonic,
And I was nervous as hell because
and
getting behind a microphone, I get that. Podcasting, I get that. But the moment you're staring down the barrel of a camera, that freaked me out.
Meanwhile,
it really did. It really did.
My degree at James Madison was in theater with a concentration in performance. And
surprise.
All right,
you're welcome for that. Yeah.
And so this was just a walk in the park, and Phil looked at me like, "Oh my God, T, that's a mess." And I said, "Trust me." And when he saw the pilot,
we filmed like for 4 hours. I mean,
we were stumbling in the dark.
Nuts.
Now we have it down. We got it down to a system.
Yep.
We got it, and then of course we do this thing called at the end of every season, because it's going to be a seasonal thing. At the end of every season, we do on camera something called the victory lap, and we're both beer snobs, so we get our favorite beer, put it in a glass, raise a toast, and then we just say, okay, let's wrap this up. And
let's see. Can they see? You can kind of see the OSI logo.
The wives got us that. And but I mean, and when you look at the recent episode and then you compare it to that pilot episode, you see how pretty raw it is. But I mean, that's where we all start, right? And then and it's a bit like the tech. You start with that one gadget, and then before the year is out, suddenly people are like, "Where are you sending me your Christmas gift? Is this a place called Ghost Stop?" Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And I mean, but we've had in this 2 years and some change, we've had, like I said, we've had some amazing experiences, and that the stuff that you're seeing in season 2, all I can think about is I want to wrap up season 2 because I'm chomping at the bit to get to season 3.
And you're saying that, and I'm thinking in my head, now that we've kind of cracked the code of how we want to present this narrative, how we want to present this narrative, I just want to get back out there, which we will be soon, and just start doing some new investigations.
This is fucking incredible, because this is literally us. Like, me and Riley started playing hockey together and working together, and then it kind of turned into like us enabling each other by going like, "Yo, you like spooky shit too, right? Like, let's talk about this all the time. Why don't we just record it? We both like podcasts." And then that evolved into like, like, we're pretty fruity. Like, we're not really afraid of much. Like, let's try the YouTube side of it, the live stuff. Like, you can tell, like, at the beginning, we're like, we go into it with a plan, and then the ADHD train takes over, and it's like, okay, like, this works really well. And like you guys said, like, we finally feel like we found that sweet spot that we've been looking for, where it's like, oh, it feels exactly what I was thinking. Like, shit.
Yeah, like, this feels so like good and right, and it's so ridiculous, and there's so many reasons why, like, this is not a great idea to pursue creatively. And at the end of the day, it's like we are all in, and we'll say to each other too, because as creative people, we all have those moments where we're like, am I doing the right thing? Like, is this,
like
I'm
discouraging feelings come.
Yeah, because you put a lot of effort into it, not just, going out to the investigations. That's the easy part, right? Getting out there and just being out in the field. But then it's the, T who does the majority, 99.9% of our editing, and then the evidence review, which takes a lot of time and a lot of focus, and you can't do much else when you're reviewing evidence.
No, you really can't.
And then you want to get your story out there. So you're trying to figure out, how do I promote this on social media? And, you wonder, you have those moments where you're like, is this it? Is this the right idea? But then you always come back around that, yeah, this is it.
It's the
This
level
is
of
it.
serotonin I get from it. When I get those moments of people that'll come to me that like I'm not super close with or didn't have that avenue to like connect with them, they'll be like, bravo, like that was really, really well done. Like, I'm really proud of you guys. It's those little affirmations, or like having somebody that like, you inspired me to do more into this field because this is incredible. And it's like,
I laugh at that. I laugh at that
Mhm.
because I said that to Jack Osborne.
Yeah.
I met Jack
Oh, you did?
Osborne. I
Yeah,
met
and
Jack
you made him a
Osborne.
little uncomfortable.
I did. I
Like,
went to
it
Jack
seemed like
Osborne.
he felt better once you took your hand out of his back pocket. That seemed to kind
I
of
couldn't
break
help
the
myself.
tension.
I love you so much.
It was
I did.
actually very close to that, but I
It
can't
was.
blame you. I can't blame you because
Jack Osborne's cute as a
he's
button.
so
Just gonna
well,
say
he's
it.
so effing lovable. He is so effing lovable,
Yeah, he really is. And the thing is,
right?
I went up to Jack Osborne at the Penhurst Paracon, and I said,
Oh, it's just so much fun.
I said, yeah, it really is a pleasure to meet you, Jack. You make me want to be a better paranormal investigator.
Mm-hmm.
And he stared at me for a moment, and he just went, "Oh, no, man,
Nah, man, not me."
No, he said, "You can't do that to me, man. I don't need that kind of pressure in my life."
It was
I'm going to pressure you, man. I'm going to pressure you. And
it was an upside down Jerry Maguire, is what it was.
It really was. It really was.
Upside down Jerry Maguire.
But
the Demogorgon showed up, and it was wearing these very thick glasses and said, "The human brain weighs 8 pounds," and then ate a brain.
Was that the most recent con that just happened? Like 2 weekends ago?
No. This was back in May. This was
back in May.
Was it May?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think there was the New Jersey Paracon was one of the more recent ones. Yeah. This was back in May.
But I will say that has been probably the weirdest part of this whole journey, has been walking the line of it's when money starts exchanging hands that it gets a little murky. It felt weird being at a con at Penhurst.
Yeah.
And I won't lie. I felt every eye looking at me through those windows at Penhurst.
Oh yeah.
And it was more like, who the hell are you? And do you know what happened? That's what I felt like it was. It was, who the hell are you? And do you know what happened here? And I mean, and I knew that. I knew what happened to Penhurst. Penhurst is one of those places. Where
sad.
I want to.
Very sad.
I want to hear the name and I just instantly get sad about it.
Yeah. But it's one of those places where I don't know if I have the mental fortitude to investigate it, because it is so intense.
Others have said the same thing too. That's crazy.
But then quite a few guests that have been there, and they've all said the same thing.
And I do think part of it, again, and this is one thing that we talk about all the time at Old Spirits. I talk about it on my podcast. It's the intent when you're going into a space, and I think for a place that is so heavy, like a Penhurst or a Blackburn, Western State Lunatic Asylum here in Virginia, where just there has been so much suffering. You're not going there to, and I'm speaking for T and I, and I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for the two of you. You're not going there to have a thrill or get scared or to prove ghosts exist. You're going there to connect with this kind of this deep sadness and to share these stories that people just don't know about. and not letting these people that were forgotten by their families and forgotten by society be forgotten, even if it's 80, 100 years later. And I think there's value in that. And I think even though it is a hard investigation to do, sometimes those really hard investigations are so worthwhile. You come back and you are exhausted, but you feel like you've connected with something, and you're putting even like a minute's worth of someone's story out there. And I think there's just so much value in that.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, paranormal investigating for me in a whole is just like being able to kind of like put my foot in history a little bit to like kind of be like, all right, well, this story
These were people.
is said to have happened. It's documented that it happened. Like, if I could go there and experience it myself, why wouldn't I want to? And if the spirits are willing to let me feel their emotions, communicate with them,
yes,
like,
I love
whatever
that.
it is, like, you're that much more like connected to them. Like,
And T, I love you to death, and I do. And I know I do. But there's not a ton of impact. But in those moments, it is, you cannot necessarily document that connection when an energy or a spirit is making you feel a fraction of the emotion or suffering or whatever that they felt. And you can't document that. And often that's the stuff we end up cutting out of episodes, rightfully so, right? But even if it's just for a breath, and you'll agree with me that like it's
I've got a story about this too, actually.
It's bread and butter.
So I will see and raise.
Oh shit. I didn't realize we were throwing down cards, son.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah,
okay.
Yes, son. Better listen up, son.
I got a shotgun taped to the bottom of this table here in this saloon.
I bet you do, Han Solo. I bet you do. So
thank you. Thank you, by the way, for that Han Solo compliment. I'm gonna be taking that to the bed tonight.
For your post.
All of a sudden you get upstairs and there's Tina, and she's got two coffee buns like strapped to her head going, "Help me, Obi-Wan. Help me, Obi-Wan." So there you go.
It's like, I'm not Obi-Wan, but I will help you.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Anyway,
Daddy?
Right, we'll stop.
So I see and I'll as if we ever. So I'll see and I'll raise the time we did feel that. And I will talk about the dramatic flip of what we felt. So Phil calls me up. We didn't stream this. You know where I'm going.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Phil didn't stream this, and I regret not streaming any of this, live streaming any of this investigation. But this was like really early on in the investigation phase.
No regrets.
And Phil said, "T, you do anything this afternoon?" I said, "No." And he said, "Well, we're going out to an outdoor location. I think you might enjoy this if you're available." I said, "Sure." So I hop in the car with him. It's me, Phil, and Tina, Phil's wife, and they take us. They take me to a place called Mount Weather, Virginia, and we were the last team to investigate this area. It's the crash site of TWA Flight 514.
And just to jump in, T, and I like how you're describing it as we were the last team to get in there and investigate.
Yeah.
All that being said, like, it's not a commonly investigated site. There are a couple other YouTubers out there that have gone there, but it is it's the diamond in the rough, the needle in the haystack. It is not a well-known location, but the history of it is
incredible.
Without a doubt, something that just needs to make people need to know. Yeah. This needs to not be forgotten.
Yeah, basically this.
Back to you, T.
Thank you. This crash site basically changed the way ground control talks to the plane, because back in this time in 1971, they had. I'm sure he'll figure it out. But he'll come back. But at this time, the lexicon between the pilots and ground control was conflicting.
Yeah,
and they basically told TWA 514, "You're clear for 1,300 feet." Now, what they meant by that was that they should be clear for 1,300 feet in this direction. Well, pilots thought there were 1,300 feet in this direction. TWA 514 was at 1,300 feet, approaching Mount Weather with an elevation of 1,800 feet.
Oh.
And the plane basically slammed into Mount Weather full speed, and 92 lives were lost. The worst part of this story.
And they were almost there, though. They were almost.
Yeah, they
almost
diverted
high enough to make it over.
But it was just there was also a problem of poor weather visibility because it was snowing and the drafts were literally pushing the plane down.
Well, it was one of those weird like wintry mixes. It was rain and sleet and snow and mist and just
the worst bit of this that we found in the research was that they were basically saying, they being the media at the time, all the media outlets that were covering this said no one of importance was on the plane. This was the weekend after Thanksgiving. There were families on that plane.
Yeah.
The first African American promoted to brigadier general was on that plane.
So nobody of importance.
Nobody of importance.
Like,
third woman to be made into an FBI agent. First Asian American woman to be made into an FBI agent. Yeah, she was on that plane.
Or someone's mother, someone's brother, someone's sister, someone's godparent.
There was humans on the plane. What?
But the thing is that when we were at the crash site, the EVPs we picked up, it's one of our most watched episodes because not a lot of people know about TWA 514, but in that episode, we caught like a plethora of just EVPs that are heartbreaking. There's actually one.
Oh God, yeah.
There's one EVP where you hear a voice go, "What am I going to do?"
That one, and that one when I first heard that one, and I hear it in my head, it's, "What am I going to do?" That's the timbre of the voice, and
there was also. And you talk about an emotional moment. We have a flux running, and we established green for yes, red for no, and we're asking, did you have family on the flight? Did you have friends on the flight? Boom! Instantly it goes green, and there was that type of back and forth. The flux came to play out of TWA.
And I think that's the first time it really came to play, isn't it?
Well, it was. But here was,
and then after that, it's been a lightning rod, and I think part of that has to do with the energy of that space imparting on that device.
But the story that Phil is
that's another discussion.
There's one more part to the story. So that's during the day. I mean, it was just this emotional, just draining, just really heavy emotional tie that we felt there. And then Phil comes with a bright idea. Let's go back at night. So we did. And I will tell you this, the flux only went off once, but it was the loudest when, and I don't know if you're familiar with the flux, but beautiful cat, by the way. But
yeah,
you got that, the flux is sitting there and it's got a neutral position of just a blue light, and the blue light just pulses. And I said, this was the last question of the night. I said, "Are we safe right now?"
Well, first you said to me, because I said, "T, I think it might be time. I think it might be time." And then you said, "Okay, that's great, Phil. I'm going to double down." And I said, "Double down."
And I said,
and then you said,
and I said, "Are we safe right now?" And you can be honest. Green for yes, red for no. And it just pulsed once, twice, and on the third pulse, I said, and I heard Phil said, "It's time to leave." And I said, "It's time to leave." But it was one of those feelings where it just flipped on a dime. We went out there, and I was expecting that emotional tie-in again.
Right, for the daytime that we felt.
From the daytime. At night, it was an entirely different vibe.
So different.
And the moment Phil said, "We're here to connect with you," I had this incredible feeling to run. I did not feel welcome there. It wasn't that crazy Blair Witch stuff. It was just that feeling. Here's a better tone. Instead of the Blair Witch, it felt like the others. I just did not feel welcome.
Yeah.
And the EVPs we picked up, Some of them are so soft you got to have headphones to hear them, but some of them are absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
I remember saying, this device will help you communicate. Green for yes, red for no. And we picked up an EVP that went red, red, green, green. And I was just like, I heard that and it was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, just out.
And I'll tell you though, I mean, I recently went back and listened to some of the TWA stuff because I'm working on a musical project that involves some of this evidence we've collected, and just listening to that ambiance of that location coming through the headphones, it takes you right back. And it is just, it was remarkable, the shift, the moment we said, we want to connect. We're here to connect. We were nervous and it was dark, and then that's all that normal kind of jitters. But the moment we said, hey, we want to connect, you can feel it just through the recording. And you know, we haven't really encountered that level of just that shift in energy frequently. You know, maybe one or two other times, and it's just.
And the reason why we were the last team to investigate this location is you can't go there now because they have built custom homes on the crash site, as you do.
As one does.
As one does. All I can think of is that if any of those people own dogs, I'm sure it's like, okay, Lucky, we're going out for our night walk, and that dog is like,
Lucky's like,
no, we're not.
I'll tell you though, I will say this
right here watching TV.
I do just want to roll through there to see how close those new constructions come to the sort of the epicenter of the crash.
Oh yeah.
Not saying that I'm going to go in there and ask any questions. I feel like we had our time with whatever is there. Yeah. And I feel like we need to let that lie, or else we're going to get some guests at home.
I will say we did a follow-up. We did do a follow-up.
We did? Yep.
And we basically, we just came out there. We went to there's this jetty of rock where a lot of people will leave flowers. They'll leave mementos.
Yeah.
And we went out there and we just said, we just want you guys to know we dropped the episode about you all. And we want you to know you guys are not forgotten anymore. We talk about you guys constantly. And I don't know if I felt like a lightness or a shit or again another one of those shifts, but I know for myself, I'm just like I spoke my piece, and I'm like I feel good. I spoke my piece. My heart is full. Thank you all, Mazel Tov, and we're good.
Yeah, and just as your brother from another mother, right?
Yeah,
that was critical for this investigation, and I could perceive that shift for you having to be able to go back out there saying, hey, I even found where the memorial is.
The memorial is. Yeah, they removed the memorial. There was a memorial there.
Wow.
And they had removed it so they could sell the property. But
of course.
But the good
news
is as one does.
As one does.
But my wife, my wife of awesome, she was doing the research and she actually tracked it down, and I reached out to the TWA museum in Kansas City, Missouri, and I said, could you send me photographs?
I know you went all in.
I did.
Amazing.
You went all in, and I commend you for that.
Well, and it's funny because now that I'm thinking about it, I did get kind of obsessive because I was like, what happened to the memorial? I need to know what happened to the memorial. I need to know what happened.
Well, obsessive doesn't sound healthy. Let's say you were focused. You were laser focused.
It wasn't
like being affected by that spiritual too, like where it's like that connection's
like
real.
it's like
it is.
To like solve a mystery there.
Yeah.
Like,
and we see. Here's the thing: you guys are looking at it from the paranormal perspective, and I'm looking at it from a more
moral side of it.
Well, okay, so let me tell you where I'm going with this. So just recently, and I've got Phil watching it now on Apple Plus. I highly recommend to you guys and to your audience and to our audience a 4-part docuseries. It's on Apple Plus called the Enfield Poltergeist.
Okay.
It takes you on. I just did a review of it.
I've
really
watched the first
good.
couple episodes. It's good.
It's
If you've
really
if
good.
you're a fan of the Conjuring series, the second installment in the Conjuring series is based on
loosely based.
I'll say they picked up some salient. Why can't I say that word?
I don't know.
Word hard.
Alcohol.
Yeah, that's a terrible word. They picked up on some certain facts, right? There's some certain,
and they ran with it.
But yeah, Enfield Poltergeist, Apple TV Plus.
Yeah. It starts off as a really deep dive into this infamous case from the UK. It ends talking a lot about how important, especially in this field, how important mental health is.
Yeah, it really is.
It's huge.
And this
that's
series,
what we have this thing where if we go into an investigation, we have to try to have the clearest mind. We have to, if we're having any issues, like we talk them out real quick. Like even if it's life, give each other a couple advices, vent to each other, like get it all out there, because when we go into this thing, we want clear minds. We don't want, if there is negative energy, to affect with our already negative thoughts that might be there just naturally. And who knows what could happen there? Like you might be inviting attachment without knowing that you are.
Absolutely. So. And you know oh, go ahead, T. Or do you want me to go for me? Go for you.
Yeah.
Go for you.
Go for
you.
Go
for you, Goose.
This is how it goes on investigations.
Because I'm Maverick, motherfucker.
That's right.
Riley constantly goes, shh.
But I was saying that the Enfield Poltergeist really does go into how not only mental health matters, but also it goes into the dangers of obsession.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving anything away, but it I was thinking after I'd watched it and let it soak in for a bit, I'm like, oh, this is how I was on a much lighter scale. This is how I was stumbling down that rabbit hole trying to figure out what happened to this memorial. And I remember when I found it, I just felt this sense of relief.
Yeah.
That oh, it was okay, everything's fine, someone's taking care of it. Great. And that's the thing, is that I don't think people talk about the importance of, like you guys said, having a clear mind, the importance of your own mental health. It's not just the mental health of the people and the places that you're investigating, but it's also you as the investigator. You have to look at this, at everything is coming at you with as clear of an eye and as objective as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's hard.
It's so hard. Well, it's so nuanced. It is so nuanced.
Like the biggest thing where it's like, you can't take care of other people if you can't take care of yourself at the end of the day. Like, you are the most important person.
You're going to love this series if you find it. If you find this series, you're going to freaking love it then. Because
there was a long period in my life where I was not putting myself at the end of the day, like at the forefront, where it's like, I want to appease everybody. Well, you're never going to be able to. And once you let go of that stigma where it's like, oh, all I have to do is look out for myself and the rest comes. It really does. And then you take that and you put it into the investigation side of it. And it's like, well, I'm a person. Like, I want to be approached as a person too. And I'm pretty sure we're speaking to people in death as well. So it's like, let's approach those people too.
And most likely, I mean, what do you get a lot in paranormal investigations? Help. Well, if you can't help yourself, how the hell are you going to help someone that's dead asking for help? Like, let's be honest.
And then like you said, obsession. Like, then you're going to start really like, well, now I need to do something about this. Well, there's nothing you can do. So you can't hold that to yourself. You can't literally let that loom over you.
No, absolutely not. And here's the thing too, with the paranormal field and with mental health, we're talking about two kind of areas that are just
not much is really known.
Yeah, and they're stigmatized. And it's people. I think we're seeing kind of a shift where there's more of an understanding that mental health is actually, it is still a quote unquote health issue. Physical health, you break your leg, you have high cholesterol, your brain is still part of your effing body, and you need to take care of your mental health. And at the same time, you're not going to judge someone that has caught a cold, or you're not going to judge someone for having cancer. So why are you going to judge someone for, having, generalized anxiety or chronic depression, right? You can't. And you just can't. And do we delve into the paranormal because of these quote unquote mental, I don't want to say illnesses, but just these things that these challenges we have? Or do we delve into the paranormal because there is something cathartic and therapeutic about understanding that this reality, this universe is bigger than the fact that I am so down that I can't get out of bed, and that I'm thinking about, not paying my bills and doing something a little more final than not paying my bills. No, it's a bigger reality we live in. And I talk about this on my podcast. I am a proponent of exploring this bigger reality, because if it gets you just gives you a little space between those negative thoughts you're having, to say, hey, wait a minute, maybe it's a little bit bigger than my personal struggle, and I'm not knocking on anyone's weight that they carry on their shoulders, because it can be so effing heavy, but it's a bigger universe. It's bigger.
This is the deeper side of the paranormal. Let's be honest.
Oh, it is though. But let's
huge side.
Let's face it though. But I mean, it's worth bringing up.
Absolutely.
Because I think those that are intrigued and interested and pursue the paranormal, and they may not realize it, but they are more prepared to broaden their perspective, even on their own situation.
Yeah.
And I know personally,
I think everything works on energies too, where it's like, if you're putting out the negative energy, and maybe it's not your fault, or maybe it's not like a choice of your own, but it's like, I think that does have like some correlation to affecting the things that are going around you as well.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, like
100%.
Like I was saying earlier, like if you go into an investigation with a negative mindset and you're negative the entire night, like whether it's you realize that you're doing it or not, because we all do that thing where
we have bad days.
We have a bad day. We let it out, but we don't realize we're letting everyone see that we're having a bad day.
My wife
type
will
thing.
tell me
You know
right
what
away.
I mean? Like we all do it. You go into an investigation with that mindset, all of a sudden everything you're getting that night is negative, like telling you get out, run, you don't belong here, of that nature.
Or maybe you're not getting anything at all.
And there's a flip side. If you watch a lot of our investigations,
like we went to the poorhouse is a great example. I literally walked in there and said, like, love me, hug me, give me like, like I'm here for you guys. And then throughout the night, I was like, you know what? I think we're getting like a child spirit here. I was like, just come give me a hug. Like, I don't want to be mean or weird or anything. And like, legitimately, we got EVPs that were like, yeah, you can have a hug. And then at the end of the night, it shifted on us and it was like, Trevor can't have a hug now.
Ooh.
And it's like, whoa, like what the
you
fuck?
You used all your hug tickets. That's why.
I sold all my hug tickets.
No, it's, again, like I said earlier, it is so nuanced when you're dealing with these abstract concepts of energy and how emotion plays into energy, and just how emotion is, chemical, but it is a chemical reaction based on what in the environment is stimulating you, and then what in the environment is stimulating you might be on the bounds of our current scientific explanations of reality. So
okay, so now you've just heard from Fox Mulder. Now let's talk to Dana. Okay.
All right, Billy, let's go.
This is how we go.
Mulder be sexy for life.
All I'm saying is, like Gillian Anderson, I am aging gracefully. I'm going to say thank you very much. But I will say this. That
you are, by the way.
Thank you. For a couple of weeks ago, for my 55th birthday, I spent it at Linville Manor with and the best. What was amazing was that when had taken his haunted basement, I mean haunted as fuck basement, turned it into a tiki bar. And so we did a haunted tiki birthday party at his place.
That's cool.
We were all wearing Hawaiian
cool.
shirts. I was
That's fun.
playing some Buffett. We were
That's
having a great time.
amazing.
Anyway, so one of the things that I feel I'm bringing to this is the more clinical, the more critical mind. And when people have said to me, they go, why are you delving into this? And I go, if you really want to have a quick summary of it, it all ties back to podcasting, because I was interviewing science fiction fantasy authors. I was creating, Phil even participated in one, radio style dramas with my books, doing things like that. And one of the things that I trained my ear for was hiccups and weirdness in audio.
Yep.
Right. I can honestly say I've spent 15 years working with digital audio. So I know what good audio and bad audio sounds like. I've heard all kinds of weirdness in audio.
And
tell you right.
And while you say that, as a sidebar for your
sidebar,
you must acknowledge that I too, as your brother from another mother,
but
audio guy.
I mean, musician guy,
we
audio
all have
guy.
the audio background.
I mean, we all have the audio background. But I will tell you right now, in the 15 years that I have interviewed people, that I have recorded podcasts live on location, I never got Get Out as a weird anomaly in any of my audio. I've never gotten that as a I've been recording over this card too many times.
I still remember you texting me. I still remember that moment.
I sat
that
down
you
with
texted me.
Yes. This was our very first investigation. Wonderful place. Again, if you guys ever come out east, we'll take you there. It's a place called Belgrove Manor.
The best French toast you will ever have.
Oh my God.
If you like French toast.
No.
So anyway,
French toast guy right here.
We go to Belgrove, and I'm sitting down with the audio and the video that I captured with my brand new $90 camera and my 8.4N
RIP $90 camera.
RIP $90 camera, freaking Chinese knockoff. And but
funny thing is, my $90 camera is going strong.
Anyway,
we have $40 Chinese cameras.
Yeah, I love them.
So anyway, and I put a brand new card in this thing. Put a brand new card in this thing, and I sit down with the video. And as I'm sitting down with it, I think to myself, "All right, I have to do this because this is what you're supposed to do after a paranormal investigation." And I guess I'm either going to find something amazing, or this is just a colossal waste of my time. That was exactly my thought. I shit you not. 5 minutes in. No. And then Get Out. I'm texting Phil. And as I'm texting Phil, I am screaming, Pip! She comes downstairs. She thinks I broke my leg or something. Yeah. She thinks I broke my leg, and I just hand her the headphones. And I play her the audio, and she does this. She goes, what am I listening? What was that? and that was 5 minutes in. And I thought to myself, okay. What was, and again, I'm pulling from 15 years of listening to audio painstakingly to make sure that it sounds good.
Then you look at the wavelength and you're like, there's a blip here. Like,
there's
that's
the blip.
something.
There's the blip. Now that still is pale in comparison to the one that actually made my wife into a believer.
And to pause you right there, just as a quick side note, on my audio, I didn't capture what T had in his moments, but for my questioning and asking into the ether, very similar responses, very similar voice.
That's crazy.
Interesting. And again, and then my wife picked up she heard this EVP that I picked up from Gettysburg.
This is one of our
it's probably the best.
Like if we had a Old Spirits, Museum of Oddities, this would be the prime.
This
display.
is the A+. This is the A+.
This is my Robert the doll.
And and if you
this is our Charlize Theron of EVPs.
I need a moment now. Thank you. Okay, so
you like that?
I did. Oh God, if only it were Charlize Theron talking, but that's a different story altogether.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
So if you go to the Gettysburg episode, we feature it in our very first Gettysburg episode. And what's happening is if Pip and I are walking back to our car, we stop at this one memorial, one of many in Gettysburg of the it was to the Army of the Potomac. And I'm talking and I just say, speak with us, please. And you hear my wife, who's about maybe 25, 50 yards ahead of me. And she says, anyone here from the Army of the Potomac? Clear as a bell. It wasn't a whisper. Clear as a bell. We hear a little kid's voice say, I'm here.
Oh, it is.
That's crazy.
You know what? And I'm going to I don't know if this is going to break show format, but T, if you want to pull it up on your phone and hold it up to your microphone, it punches so clearly.
All I did.
That we can do that.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. It's here. I'll
pull it up and pull it up on
screen.
screen.
Yeah. Pull it up on screen. I will find the because I know where it is in.
Yeah, you want to give them the timestamp because I think.
Yeah,
I think before this night is over, I think that is something that we need to share.
End on.
What's the title?
Ghost orphans reach out to us in haunted Gettysburg.
Subtext: this is fucked up, yo.
Okay.
The time signature playlist that might be easier to.
Hang on, I can actually do you one better.
Oh,
I will say start at
this talented guy,
or even send me the link in the private chat.
Oh, that'd be easy. Even better.
All right, here we go. Hold up. Share.
Technology
start at 3814. Copy.
We live in the future.
And all right, and then private chat. Boom. And here is the URL. It'll take you right to the moment.
Oh, look at you!
And you won't need headphones. Just
no, you don't. You don't.
Just pull up the clip and play, and make sure that audio is running, and you're good.
All right.
You clicked the wrong thing, bud.
I did.
No comment.
All right, there we go.
If you are here.
Oh, it might be slow for a second. Sometimes StreamYard will do this.
That's okay.
Understood.
Give us a sign. Speak with us, please.
Anyone from the Army of the Potomac? Who's here?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Right?
Do you guys need a drink?
Holy shit.
Yeah. All I did was boost the volume. That's it. Speak with us, please.
Anyone from the Army of the Potomac? Who's here?
It's so clean. It's clean.
So
I did not touch it. All I did was highlight it, boost the audio, and said, I'm done. Thank you. Good night.
Crazy.
And you
literally were right there.
Yeah. According to our blind friend, Steve Saylor, who used to work in radio, he said, based on how close you'd have to be, because he heard the original clip before I boosted the audio of it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, whatever that was, T was standing right next to you.
Yep.
And it was standing right next to and we were alone. There was nobody there but me and my wife. And that particular EVP kept my wife up for 3 nights straight because she was trying to understand what it was. And she was just like, and that T was when I said, okay, we're in. And we haven't looked back since.
We're gonna have to show you guys some of the EVPs that we caught at the poorhouse with Tommy.
That's something we haven't done yet. A poorhouse or an almshouse.
Almshouse, yeah, but it's
on the list.
It's on the radar.
Yeah, it's on the radar.
So this is the one that we were talking about earlier. I have it in a short.
Long. I don't even know what the hell that said.
Immediately didn't know what it said, but it like literally goes, can't have a hug now.
Yeah, I heard that. Oh, that pops.
Dude, I
That
was
pops.
shook.
Can't have a hug.
It's funny because it's like that whole night we were getting them. You can see Riley's hand shaking, but it's like that's so much excitement because that was like the
Oh,
first
yeah.
time we captured a voice.
Oh gosh, I hope I have it on here. I don't think I do.
It just blows your mind. It blows your mind. It doesn't matter if it's the first EVP that you've caught that you've ever heard or the 500th EVP that you've ever caught.
And
Every single time it's like, what the F?
Disembodied
How-
footsteps
how?
are what does it for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, we
Oh, yeah.
caught probably the
The most
craziest
clean footsteps I've ever heard in my
disembodied
life.
footsteps I think I've ever heard.
And that's how that's one of the reasons why I why I love live streaming what we do. It was at Linville Manor. We were setting up at Linville Manor, and we picked up a disembodied voice on stream. Call out mom, and
No, we were on break. We weren't setting up. We were on snack Dorito break.
Yeah,
it was a Dorito break.
Yeah.
it was a Dorito break.
Because Doritos are
and
fucking delicious.
Absolutely. And all the
It is
daughters were like, yeah, I thought I heard Sam say so and so, and then they found my daughter in the other room, and she's like, huh? And you see this pandemonium go
amazing.
It's amazing.
It's like, that wasn't me. That was me.
And when I was,
That was me.
and when I played it at TwitchCon,
Yeah.
the entire audience just kind of went, whoa. You hear this,
Whoa.
and this beautiful streamer of color at the other end just went, she leaned into her microphone, went, nope.
No.
And I was like, but Chelsea, nope. Oh, come on, Chelsea, it'd be nope. I promise I won't. Nope. You know, it's just straight up Jordan Peele. Nope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I ain't dealing with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need Jeebus in your life, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Jeebus saves.
Yeah, but
You know,
this
from
like
that
Tommy
20s.
amongst the tombstone or among the tombstones.
Okay.
Like this is his video. Ours is coming out soon. I'm working on it. So is Riley with me. But this is the cleanest footsteps I've ever heard my entire life.
And mind you, at the time, none of us heard these when it happened.
4 cameras and
Oh,
2 EVPs.
really? Okay. Okay. Brilliant.
All new windows, the whole new ceiling and everything. As you can see, there's power saws and everything. So there's some significance to this room. And I think there's probably some energy attached to this room that would like to speak about what happened here. So last year, a storm hit the back of this building and destroyed the roof. How do you guys feel about that? Does this make you guys very upset?
How does the construction make you feel?
I've been told that spirits do not like it when their buildings or their places of rest are
And let's skip forward to the review
Is
part
this
of it.
true?
Although
Because it's louder on the review because it's like you
Right.
can hear it running at the EV, like at our EVP recorders, and it's like, what the fuck?
This is helping me. Does this make you guys very upset? How does the construction make you feel?
You can hear every clap, clap, clap.
Yeah.
clap.
Yeah.
I heard that. I heard that.
But
Yeah.
it did
Yeah.
How does the construction make you feel?
Yep.
No, that's running.
Yep.
That's fucking running. That's someone running.
And like
It's
it's not
very
all
fast.
over
It's
Instagram.
very
Yeah,
fast.
because you couldn't even make that.
Yeah.
How does the construction make you feel?
It's running.
It sounds barefoot too.
No, that's
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good
So,
point.
yeah, a little preface to what was going on in the building too. Like Tommy said, it got hit with a tornado and the roof got ripped off. So they're doing construction all in that room and all over the floors because it's a museum. To protect the floors, they had the plastic on the floors, the plastic construction paper.
Oh, wow.
That's
Okay.
fascinating. That's
So it sounds like bare feet running up and down those.
Yeah.
And it was insane because not only did all of that capture it, at that time there was a night vision camera over by the staircase where it sounded like it was coming from, and there was just an audio anomaly that came through it, and it was just like, and the camera itself made the noise, and we were like, all of us,
What is
looked at
that?
it, we were like, what the fuck was
It
that?
was craziness.
And that's the thing is that, you know, with that's the part that the critical mind of T is still 2 years and some change later is still wrapping his brain around. Is I have worked with audio for all this time, and I've never heard these types of anomalies. The worst anomaly I've ever heard, the only and it's the one anomaly where I do roll my eyes a bit, because sometimes stuff that's presented on YouTube as evidence, I'm like, that's not quite evidence. Like there's this thing where
YouTube,
it's where like, you know, they'll be listening to audio and something here this, and I'm like, I remember what that noise was. That was cell phone interference.
Oh God, yeah. I mean,
God, it drove me nuts when I would get that.
Are people putting that out as evidence?
Yeah, they're saying they're calling it audio anomaly. I'm like, no, that's cell phone.
That's T-Mobile, motherfucker.
That's Verizon, dipshit.
The defense rests.
Again, the reason, but here's rip from the headlines. But this is one of the things that we don't do at OSI openly and a lot. We don't criticize other investigators openly unless they really cross the line. I'll give you a good example. I did one of my 5-minute paranormals was a review of the show 28 Days Haunted.
Yeah. Which
triggered me in so many ways. I just told people, this is the worst of paranormal investigation. This is where we cross the line and we become, you know, Ripley's Believe It or Not, you know, and it just bothered me on so many levels.
He's been on blood pressure medication since.
Yes. And, but again,
I don't know if that's true. I just said that.
But some people have said, "Hey, have you thought about like debunking other people's evidence?" And I'm just like, no, because I've seen some paranormal teams make that as their side hustle, and it reaches a point where that's all they're doing. And I'm like,
that's right. It makes me go like, no.
It's a slippery slope. Now, if somebody asks, asks me, "Hey, would you listen to this and do X, Y, Z?" I'd be like, "I will."
Yeah,
but
I'll consider it.
Yeah.
But there was one where this guy was doing
it's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
But I will say there was this guy that really good guy named Styles, Haunted Styles on Twitch. He does this thing called Haunt Hunters, and he was reviewing some evidence, and I had it playing in the background, and it must be just this muscle that I've trained now, because I'm doing my thing, and then I go and I lean over to my Mac and I go, Styles, back up about 20 seconds, listen intensely. I think you picked up an EVP. And remember, there's a delay on Twitch. Well, about 30-45 seconds later, everything stops, and I hear Styles go on the mic, go, "Good catch, T, thanks." And awesome. He was like, "How did you do that, man?" And I said, "I listen. I'm really good at listening now." I don't listen to my wife.
I trained him well.
My wife half as well as I listen for EVPs, and sometimes she reminds me of that.
Oh, that's quotable.
That's quotable. When I'm trying to like keep my ear attuned, like I'm a hunter, so my ears are like attuned to any anomaly noise.
Yeah.
Like I'm just listening for that deer noise, and 1,000 animals sound like a
thinking
deer,
about it too.
Really
out of the specific. What we've done this almost 5 years now, right? Just about, and it's like the entire time we had one anomaly when we were doing the podcast itself, where it wasn't the board, it wasn't in post, it was just there. So it was when my mom had passed away, and it was the first time that I had publicly spoken about it on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
And I had an anomaly right during like the part where I started talking about it. And it's like, ooh, like we've never encountered that before. Like and it like kind of like leads back a little bit to like, we put out that energy. Like if me projecting that raw emotion like affected that.
Oh God, yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I would so like audio comes from when these happen.
And I haven't talked about this much, but and I'm not really sure why. Right around the time I started doing my podcast, Don't Turn Around, I had a psychic medium on the show, and we were just chatting casually as we were making our way through the episode, and she asked me, "Have you ever caught any EVPs when you've been recording episodes?" And I said, "Well, no, but I've only just recorded just a few. It's a new podcast." He said, "Well, tonight you're going to catch one." said, okay. That is, very, I appreciate the confidence. And lo and behold, when I was going back through the audio,
You never told me this story.
I never told it, and I don't even know why I never even put it out there.
Sit like right up on the top because it's like, oh shit, that did happen.
All you hear is like I'm talking. There's a little pause, and then you hear hello, and it's indisputable. And I felt at the time, like for whatever reason, I couldn't put it out there. Like I felt like it was just for me.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense at all.
In post, I was like, this can't be paranormal. This has to be just some type of anomaly. Like it just has to be something that I can explain away. And it was nothing we could explain away.
Maybe I'll put that on next month, but it's just so crazy.
Yeah, we tried everything to fucking debunk it. Nothing
like,
could
do
work.
we re-record this section? And then we're like,
no. I mean, it literally sounded like someone
something
going,
we wanted
hello.
to see there.
Yeah, and it's like I'm sure like when you're like recording, are you just in your studio alone?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. I was thinking to myself, okay, well, she was recording remotely, and so she has her own track in Zencaster, which I download and I bring into my DAW. I'm like, oh, well, she just whispered that into the microphone.
Yeah, like I'll see the blip here.
But the fucked up part was it was on my track. It was on my microphone track.
Damn.
So it should have only been your voice.
Yeah, so hers doesn't show the anomaly. It's in your fucking house.
Bingo.
You did inform your wife of this, right?
Oh no, I didn't say a word. And if you if you say anything, our friendship is over.
Phil. Yeah, it would be over because she would kill you right there. Yeah. She has that Latina blood, man. Yeah. You don't want to. You should have just. Phil, take it from your brother from another mother. Take it from your Scully. Okay, if you pick up anything like that in the future, the first person you gotta tell.
Start smudging. You gotta
You gotta get Tina on that shit. She got to smudge. She got a Palo Alto. She got a Palo Alto the shit.
It didn't feel threatening. It didn't feel threatening.
And it probably hasn't happened since, has it?
It hasn't. It hasn't.
That's wild.
And so we're good. I'm good. You're good, T. They're good. Tina's good.
I just got one thing to say to you, Phil. That's it.
Okay.
You know what that refers
to. You're welcome for The Conjuring, T. Yep. T had not seen The Conjuring.
Fuck you, Phil.
We've been introducing T to some of our favorite horror films.
God damn.
T is a jumper and a screamer.
I am.
Which makes watching these movies together just like it's Easter every day. It's just beautiful.
That's awesome. Dude, another thing too to tie into like that anomaly with like when I was talking to my mom, when my wife was having our kid, she was given that like cocktail of drugs that led up to the epidural.
Oh yeah, of course.
Violet my daughter's name is Violet. She ended up having to be an emergency C-section, but during that they had her so cocktailed up that she kind of passed out a little bit, and then she like kind of stopped breathing when she was like kind of like knocked out.
Oh wow.
And then she heard a voice tell her to like take a breath, like it's gonna be okay. Well, months and months and months later, I was like, hey, we're gonna watch home movies at my dad's house, like my mom and stuff. She hears her voice for the first time and she goes, that's it. That's what I heard. And it's like, what the hell? Like, I really, truly believe that like, these energies like all align where it's like, hey, it's not just like a wash where it's like, you're just getting an echo from the past. I really do think that like spirits themselves are transient and they can come and go as they please from whatever this heaven or fifth dimension is.
How many times, Phil, have you said, or have we heard in different Estes methods, I come and go?
Yep.
We hear that a lot in our Estes.
We had it basically confirmed on our haunted forest video.
Oh crap.
Yeah, we got that. We got a come and go quite often.
Well,
on when we investigated the Bird Theater, we got a lot of
the Bird Theater. Really? That's freaking awesome.
Oh, that place is beautiful.
Beautiful,
gorgeous.
Yeah, that's our season opener. That's our season opener.
So here's what I'm going to say. We are conditioned to look at time and our experience and our interaction with this physical world as a very linear thing.
And it's such a small window if you put it into perspective of what time is it in general.
And so it cannot be, and again, this is my opinion, does not reflect the opinion of Old Spirits investigations.
I'm sentimenting this though. I'm sentimenting this.
He's gonna slip it in the mission statement.
there's no linear about it. Okay, so there's no linear about it, and I'm gonna just state it that way and leave it simply because it's getting late and I don't want to even try to. I don't even try to articulate those thoughts. So we can do that on the follow-up show. But to the listeners, I challenge you to try to take a step back from this paradigm of our civilization that views everything in terms of time as linear. What if it wasn't linear?
It's not.
What if time is not linear?
Construct. We
exactly. Well, time period is a human construct.
Literally, this past weekend here in Michigan, we lost an hour.
That just happens.
And where does it go?
What is that? What is that? How is that even? We go back an hour now, like just because we do. Like, oh, it's midnight, but nope, actually, it's 11 again. Like,
I think it's like if you
surprise, motherfucker.
My favorite kind of story like that was the first time I took my daughter to New Zealand, and we left. We left at she was 6 at the time. We left Thursday night. We touched down in Austin. Well, no, we touched. No, I take that. We left Monday. We touched down in Auckland, and I said to my daughter, "Do you know what day it is?" And she says, "Yeah, Dad, it's Tuesday." I said, "No, it's Wednesday. We just lost today." And she just went, "What?" And I see her little 6-year-old brain trying to process that.
I think you broke her in that moment.
No, I broke her when I said, "Hey,
Dad of the Year."
I did. I said, when we travel back, we're gonna arrive back in the United States before we left. And she just was like, And then we left Saturday. We left Saturday afternoon, and we arrived in San Francisco Saturday morning. And I said, "What day is it, hon?" And she looked at me. She was like, "Is it still Saturday?" And I said, "Yeah." She went, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm a time traveler.
Okay.
Let's go."
All right. I'm glad there's like a good ending to that, like a happy.
She's not just like stuck in this loop of like it's the day before. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
She was just waiting for, she was probably waiting for David Tennant to show up and go, "Right, so let me explain. Time's this wibbly wobbly sort of thing."
Well, as long as it's not like Inception shit, then she's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
She's
Or
fine.
Matrix or anything like that.
No Groundhog Day shit either. If I have to live
Exactly.
the same day over and over again, I'll go insane.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill Murray handled that very well. Very well. Well, hey guys, I've got to bounce here in just a minute.
Yeah.
Wow,
really
this is so fast. How is it 10 o'clock Eastern
How have we been going nearly 2 hours? I mean, this has been great.
We could do this for
we probably could.
6 hours later. Well, I will say this: if you guys are ever on this, on the East Coast, Gettysburg, please reach out to us because I would love to
hit, and we're gonna hit you up.
Yeah, we would love to investigate with you guys.
And we're gonna be up in there.
Okay.
That's the best part about all of this is the networking and like being able to talk to awesome individuals like you guys yourselves and getting to see the content that you guys have put out there where it's like, look at this fucking track record of evidence, these places you guys have been to. It's fucking amazing. This is why this is the fucking greatest thing in the world.
And we have nothing to do with that. That is all the location. That's all the location.
But you guys are putting the time and effort in to bring this to us, and we appreciate it so much.
Thanks for saying that.
We appreciate that. Yeah, we honestly do. I can honestly say this has been a labor of love. I promised myself
it shows too.
I promised myself I would never get involved in a YouTube series because I'm just like, I know what goes into video editing. It would kill me and all this stuff. And then here I am.
And here you are.
And here I am. And I said to Phil today, I said, "Phil, is it silly that when I hear the Old Spirits theme, I get this rush of adrenaline? And Phil just responded
like
every time. And I said, okay, so it's not just me. Okay, we're good then.
Yep.
We're good.
That's the intro video for me. It's pure adrenaline.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
when you know, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Love getting locked into this space, like, or the What Goes Bump Tonight space for me is just like when I go there, it's like
I'm home.
it's home.
Yeah,
The happy
it all
place.
kind of falls into place. It
The
falls
happy
into
place, man.
place, and it's a good feeling. You know, it's a good feeling, and we
Welcome.
really appreciate you guys having us out here tonight to
Thanks
just
a lot, guys. We really
talk
appreciate
about this
it.
stuff.
And speaking of happy places, we'll run this back eventually. Like, there's a plethora of people that we are trying to get back on the podcast, but I would love nothing more than to continue this conversation again.
Absolutely, we have plenty more to talk about. I feel like we
We
barely
didn't even ask our main questions.
Yeah,
No,
we never
we
even got
didn't.
to like we never even did our marquee questions tonight.
No,
Like,
we got through one post-it note, like a single post-it note.
That's like, here's my notebook. Fucking
Yeah,
go.
or like one ply toilet paper, like we're like half ply.
As I like to tell people, it's okay. We give good interview. You know, we give good interview.
Yeah.
It's
oh,
all right.
100%. You guys were pros.
No, we would love to talk again. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We would absolutely love to talk again.
We'll definitely make sure it happens. And I guess with that being said, folks, remember to keep your ears and eyes open for where it goes.
Bump in the night. Peace. I love you guys so much.
Love y'all.